Good evening, everyone. It's Julie Hedges here, and I'm live on the Tarot Journey. And tonight it is filling your toolbox. So I want to welcome all of you to the show, and I'm trying a clip-on mic tonight because I wanted to make sure that I've got the sound all taken care of, because I know with my external microphone um, sometimes it's a little bit wonky. So I'm trying to do a little bit with the technology as I can. Hello, Neshi. Thanks for being on tonight. And um, it looks like the comments are scrolling through, but I have my phone here just in case. If somebody can give me a thumbs up on the sound, making sure that's okay, because I'd really like to use my little clip-on mic here. Hi, Rochelle. Thanks for coming on tonight. Um, this show that we're doing tonight is called Filling Your Toolbox. It's the first part of a 3-part series. And Spirit told me that I needed to do 3 shows of this particular topic and kind of 3 iterations of it. Hi, Annette. Hi, Rob. Hi, Tabitha. It's been a while since I've seen you. And hi, Jocelyn. Thank you all for coming out tonight. So where I was with filling your toolbox, part 1 tonight, and then next time we meet, we're going to have part 2 and part 3. And so it's about filling your, I think tonight we're going to talk about more that your spiritual toolbox for everyday life. Okay. And next time when we meet, we're going to talk about filling your toolbox for emergency situations. And then on our final part 3, we're going to talk about filling your toolbox for the aftermath. So the emergency happened, and now you're trying to come to balance after some things have been a little bit wonky. So that's what we're going to do. That's the topic that Spirit has given me. And so I would like to ask if you might find it in your heart to take the tarot journey and you sprinkle it about. If you would like to extend the reach onto your own timeline, or maybe you are the owner of a Facebook page, or maybe a Facebook group that allows these kinds of live stream videos so that we can extend that out to like-minded people, or people who are searching, people who want to know about filling their toolbox with skills and attributes and joys that can help them in their lives. So if you would like to do that while we're getting started, we would greatly appreciate that, because all of the little minions behind the scenes of Facebook like those sorts of things, but we can't say a particular word for some reason. So we want to spread the joy. We want to sprinkle the show. We want to extend the reach. And maybe help me think of some other ways to say it about broadening the scope. Okay, so thank you for doing that. I think they, oh, good. The comments are working, so I can see in this new studio, which is a completely different setup. So imagine, just to give you an idea of what this is like, imagine that, you have your living room set up with the couch in one place and your TV in another place and the coffee table, and maybe you have a bookshelf and all of that. And then you go to work, whoops, and you come home and everything's on the opposite side or turned around or backwards, or the carpet is on the ceiling and it's just completely backwards. Your art is all turned upside down and grandma's picture is in a completely different room. So that's what it's kind of like with this new studio setup. So all the levers and pulleys that I need to be on here with you, I'm having to find them. So it's kind of like that. So thank you for bearing with me tonight. But the comments are looking like, yeah, the comments are looking like I can keep up with them. So that's good when we get to the part in the show, which we always do, live mini readings. So I love to do that with you. But never fear, I do have my phone with me. So if I lose them scrolling on the side, then I can just check my phone for the comments. And for the mini readings tonight, I have it behind me there, the Good Tarot, but here is the booklet, The Good Tarot by Colette Baron Reed. I love using this particular deck. It really has a soft, gentle approach, and but it's still very powerful. It's like an ocean current that's very soothing, but it's still powerful, right? Still powerful. So with that, we have done a little bit of introduction. And before we get started with our work tonight, because when we get together for the Tarot Journey show, we are on our spiritual path. We are on our journeys, and we are doing soul work together on the show. So I always want to create that container, that sacred space for us to do our soul work. And so I'd like to, even if you have done your grounding today, if you would join me while I do my grounding for the evening. I do it twice a day, every day, to really connect myself and all my bodies, mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual, to be aligned with Grandmother Earth and her energy. So if you would affirm in your heart with me as I say the words, my feet are connected to Grandmother Earth, the heart of Grandmother Earth, and I'm grounded. My knees, my hips, my heart, my shoulders, my head are all connected to my feet, connected to the heart of Grandmother Earth, and I'm grounded. My organs, cells, and bones, all of the parts within me are connected to my feet, connected to the heart of Grandmother Earth, and I am grounded. And my central channel, my crystalline tube, my energy centers, my chakras and meridians are all connecting now through my feet into the etheric field of Grandmother Earth. And I am grounded. I am grounded. I am grounded. And just take a breath with me. And invite in your angels, your spiritual allies, those who are on your spiritual team, to be with us tonight, to be with you tonight, as we are doing our work on our own journeys. Another deep breath in. And so it is. Amen. All right. All right. So tonight is about filling your toolbox, and we're focusing on creating joy for everyday living. But as I was on my way home from work tonight and thinking about the show and kind of preparing my own mind and spirit for the show, I got a little tingly here in from my spiritual team saying yes. And so the show tonight is, I'm really leaving a lot of room for spirit. I only have a few notes here. And so one of the messages coming through for this evening to talk about, and I'm really interested in what you and the audience are going to share tonight. It's also about creating that joy when you're also trying to balance, when you're also trying to find harmony again. So for example, yesterday we had, I guess, what you would call one of those supercells, and just it literally blew through, and it wasn't quite a tornado, but it was a powerful burst of a thunderstorm and thunder bumpers, but the wind was just absolutely crazy. And so there was a lot of mayhem and flotsam and jetsam all over the road, and limbs and trees down and all of those things. And, at work today, stories about, the limb fell down on my neighbor's house right through his bedroom, and those sorts of things. Thankfully, we were all together at mom and dad's, all of brothers and sisters and nieces and nephews. So we were having Sunday dinner as we typically do. And we didn't lose power, but there was a lot of flickering going on and a lot of, trees back and forth and raining sideways, like those little stinging rains. And so I'm saying all of that because today it's bright and sunny, and it's 800 degrees and 200% humidity, and you would never know it by looking at, if you just opened your eyes this morning and just all day the sun was so hot and bright, and you would never know that we had that supercell storm that just really kind of shook things up yesterday. It also brought the temperature down, which is really nice, as storms kind of do. But today it was right back up to the dog days of summer. So in terms of that, when we're talking about creating joy in everyday life, we're also thinking about it in terms of creating joy after we've had kind of a shake-up a little bit. Not so much an emergency maybe, but just something, whoa, like having to slam on your brakes because someone pulls right out in front of you and you're like not expecting that. Or, your little kitty or your little doggy, you open the front door and just they race out and you have to go down the neighborhood to look for them and finally get them back home, and you're like, trying to catch your breath, kind of that sort of thing. So that's where we're going to focus a little bit tonight. I like that. Stephanie says, tossed world sounds like a daily existence with my kiddo. Thank you, Neshi. Neshi's saying, I love that we are doing our soul work together on the Tarot Journey show. Yes, definitely do. And our focus tonight about creating that joy really goes hand in hand with the sun in the sky as it's traveling through the mansion of Leo of the zodiac. You know, we always have these cosmic conversations on the tarot journey. I do the tarot, I do Akashic records, I speak the language of the stars. So I try to weave it all together. So bringing us a cosmic perspective of this. We still have a few more days of the sun being in the mansion of Leo. And Leo is that fire energy. Leo is the Lion King or the Sun King. So it is about this fiery sun. And Leo rules the heart. So everything to do with the heart center. So that's been our focus for the last month, since mid-July here to mid-August. So I think it's on the 23rd when the sun actually moves into the next zodiac mansion. So for a few more days, we are under the auspices of this fiery, heart-centered energy. And some of the attributes of Leo, the Leo rulership is rulership. Leo is the king, the Lion King, the Sun King, rules his kingdom, the kingdom of the heart. So there's a nobility and a regalness and a sovereignty with Leo. And also the zodiac energies of Leo are about creativity. So art and love affairs and joy and children. So you know how when children get together and play, they come from, you know, all walks of life, and they get together and they figure out the rules and they just play. They play with one another as they are socialized, and it's just joy. And joy is the highest octave of love. And so we're in that space of Leo, the Lion King, Leo, the sovereign of the heart, and focusing on what is most joyful for our hearts. So, what are some of the ways that you can create joy in your kingdom? Meaning the kingdom of your life. Because just like a king rules a particular boundary, right? He has his kingdom. He usually has a beautiful castle and walls around the court. And then he has lands in the countryside. So he has an area that he rules. He is the sovereign noble. And also being the king, he is responsible, but also the benevolent leader. He wants to be a benevolent leader, so that by living in the kingdom and participating in the kingdom, you have the benefit of the sovereignty. You have the benefit of the riches. You have the benefit of the bounty of the harvest. You have the benefit of trade. You have the benefit of participating in all of that. So, how are you creating joy in your kingdom? I'd love to hear about that. And let's see if we can get some comments here. Let's see if we can get to comments here. Show on. Oh, there we go. Trying to figure out how to show comments. Yay. So now she said earlier we are doing our soul work together on the Tarot Journey show. Yes, we are. Whoops. I'm trying to get used to all of this. And Annette, I'm trying to get to your comment here. It won't let me click on it. It won't. Annette is saying the universe trying to get our attention with a strong wind. I wish I could scroll down. Let's see here a little bit more. Okay. Now it goes. You know, Annette's saying the universe trying to get our attention with that strong wind. Yes. And also to clear out old energies, right? That's another purpose of a storm. Because when that big storm cell comes through and it just blows everything and the lightning and the thunder and all of that, it ionizes the atmosphere and also brings with it the, oh, what am I trying to say? A new front, so a cold front coming through, so the temperatures drop, so it totally changes the atmosphere. So it's kind of like clearing the air. Like around here, we're getting ready for the harvest season. You know, the corn is way high and soybeans are about ready also. So pretty soon the farmers are going to be out in their fields and they're going to be harvesting. And so I completely lost my train of thought. I don't know what I was getting ready to say. Maybe it'll come to me. I completely lost my train of thought. Wow. Let me take a drink. I'm supposed to be drinking lots of water these days, and I intend that I drink 2 liters of water in order to comply with that directive from my spiritual team. I do that at work. So I have a liter bottle. This is not a liter, but you know, something like this. I have a plastic water bottle that I keep at work, and so I fill it up twice, and that's my water for the day. It's like I know that I'm done. So after that, I can have whatever I want. I took a walk before my show, so I needed a little more water, and I was hoping that that taking a drink of water would help me remember what I was going to try to say, but it didn't quite work. Let's see here. The comments are not coming up as swiftly, so let me see if I can find them on my phone, and I'm hoping that I'm hoping that so okay. So Rochelle saying it happens to her all the time. Well, bless your heart. I just totally feel flabbergasted right at the moment. And Annette says, like a day after a blizzard, the sun shines, the sky is blue, and everything is so fresh. Yeah, like when that storm blows through, it just changes the total atmosphere. Let's see here. Rob says his domain, where the networking term originated. I didn't know that. So, like domain of computer, because I know Rob is the IT go-to guy. So networking, definitely. So what joy are you creating in your kingdom? So I started off a little bit talking about my personal regimen, where my spiritual team is on me to eat vegetables every day and drink water every day. And those are 2 things that have been rather low on my priority list my whole life, right? So there's got to be some trade-off for following the rules, you know? Because I just can't get my spiritual team to agree that Snickers are really vegetables. They don't believe me. But think about this. Think about it. Snickers are made from chocolate. Chocolate is made from cocoa. Cocoa is a plant. It's a vegetable. But they don't agree. They want me to eat real vegetables. And I just have to say that that's a real drag. But I will say this about the water, at least. The water. I'm going to take another drink. At least with the water, with having 2 or more liters of water a day, I have really noticed a difference in my sinuses. I've suffered from really debilitating sinus headaches since I was about 13, 14 years old. Like lots of pressure and feeling like my head was going to explode, but not being stopped up. And I will tell you that drinking all of that water really takes the pressure down. And I was surprised. So I'm going to keep drinking the water like I'm supposed to. Okay. So let's see what we've got on here. The comments aren't scrolling up as fast as I can put them on here on the studio, but they are coming up on my phone. So let me read them from the phone. It says, Nesty says sugar comes from a plant too. Well, yeah. So Snickers should totally be a vegetable. But I can't get them to agree with that. Dairy and nuts fall under meat, says Rob. There you go. Pizza, on the other hand, encapsulates all of the food groups and convenient food stuff. Yeah. You know, who would have thunk it would be such a challenge to make all of our food choices? So back to creating joy for your own kingdom. So thinking about the ways that you can add some more joy, because we all have responsibilities. We all have little personal development things that we are doing for ourselves. Eating vegetables every day, drinking 2 liters of water each day, or whatever it is. You know, maybe for you it's you have to walk the dog for an hour a day. Maybe your personal development is something completely different that is somewhat of a chore. Okay, I'm just going to say it that way. Somewhat of a chore. What ways are you creating joy for yourself, bringing that into your kingdom, the kingdom of your heart? And also, here's another part that is pretty significant as we're talking about Leo the King and his sovereignty and his kingdom. How are you fortifying your personal sovereignty of your life? You are the king or the queen of your life. You get to make all the decisions. That's the good news. And the challenging news is you get to make all of the decisions. So with that rulership comes the responsibility. But with the responsibility comes the sovereignty. How are you creating more sovereignty for your life? So for me, I will say that by drinking the water, the 2 liters of water every day, and I've been very good about that. I'm going to pat myself on the back right now. I've been very good about my water. I really started the regimen of water, we'll say, really in earnest in about early May. I mean, I was really committed to it, doing it every day. It's a little more challenging on the weekends, but I really made it a point to, I stuck with it through work because it was just easier. Just fill up that bottle twice, and I've got a bathroom nearby. I don't have to worry about that. Just get that water down, get that water down. So back to the personal sovereignty, by doing that regimen of the water every day, it has reduced my intake of Sudafed and ibuprofen, which we all know that ibuprofen can build up a tolerance. It can also tear up your innards. So it's good to not be reliant on those things. And so that's what the water has done for me. It has created that sovereignty for my body so that I can have, it's a more joyful life, but what do I want to say? I reduce my need for those substances, the Sudafed and the ibuprofen, to feel better. I can do some natural things to help alleviate that. Now, sometimes it just gets so bad that I do have to take something, or I have to lay down with a cold pack. I put the cold pack over my head and my eyes and all of that, and I have to lay down until it releases a little bit. Sometimes I still have to do that, but a lot less frequently than I have ever in my life. So that's one way that I am creating sovereignty. Let's see if I can get to some of your questions. Okay. Neshi is saying the attitude adjustment that only we can do for ourselves to do the things that are better for our health. Yes. Now, I know you, Neshi, have shared that you were doing a pretty significant body cleanse at one point. I think you were following the liver detox that Patty Heredia had shared. She had written in Star Nations magazine, and now she has her own show. So that's exciting too. She shares her health tips. So yes, the things that we do for ourselves that take better good care of our health. Rob says, you go, girl. Yay. I'm trying. I tell you, I would much rather eat the vegetables that come in the little packets called Snickers or Kit Kat. But I'm taking my lunch every day now, and I am eating real vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower and carrots. So I'm doing that. Okay. My microphone is a little squelchy. Maybe if I pull it up a little bit. You let me know if that's a little bit better. All right. Yep, squeaky. So maybe give me a heads up and let me know how that works. Becky is saying, I can't pull it up online over here, but on my phone, Becky is saying that she has a cold pack for her face for migraines. I hear ya. Is that better on my sound? So I think one more thing before we get to the readings, because this fits right into it. When the sun's still in the mansion of Leo, it's all about the heart. And we were talking about creating joy in your everyday life and creating joy even when you're trying to rebalance. Maybe you've had a kind of a wonky day, or maybe a storm is blowing through and you've got to pick up the limbs. And so now, you catch your breath. What about listening to your heart? Leo, The Sun King, the Lion King, rules the heart. Are you listening to your heart? And your physical heart, yes. Are you feeling its beat? Are you feeling into that beat? But also your high heart. That's the emotional resonance of your physical heart. Are you listening to your heart? The heart meaning the core of you. The core of you that is beating through every cell of your body. And of course, its beat is a percussion, a beat that sounds, that vibrates, that's a better way to put it, that vibrates through all of your bodies. So beginning with your physical body, and then your emotional, that's your next layer, and your mental layer, and then your spiritual layer. So all of those bodies, here we go, all of those bodies, every heartbeat beats through all of those bodies. So are you listening to your heart beat? Are you being true to all of those parts of you? The physical part of you, the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual. And at least a slice of that, if not a big chunk of that, is about saying what you need to say. That's a big message to deliver tonight. Saying what you need to say. And so it's kind of along those lines of creating boundaries. Well, what does that really mean? When you say what you need to say, when you speak the truth that is in your heart, that creates a line in the sand, so to speak. That creates a line that says, this is my yes and this is my no. My truth is my truth, whatever that may be. My truth is my truth, that I, for my health, need to drink 2 liters of water each day. So that means I'm going to pass on a pitcher of margaritas. My truth is my truth, just for an example. Or I need to get a good night's sleep because I have an early morning meeting. That means my boundary is for myself. I'm going to have to go to bed lights out, not listening to any YouTube videos, not reading, not looking at social media. 10 p.m. lights out. That's going to be a rule. That's going to be a boundary for myself. Because I know that the next day I need to be fresh and bright and shining and ready to go. But also it can be having those boundaries with people in your lives. And so how do you know if you need to set some boundaries? Well, this is a way that I have found to be true in my life, and I will just give it to you. And it was pointed out to me. And when I thought about it, I'm like, yeah, that totally makes sense. How do you know when your boundaries need to be worked a little bit? So here is something to offer to you. Consult your resentments. What does that mean? Well, we all have disappointments, and we all have times when we wish something was different than the way that it is. And if it keeps eating at us and eating at us and eating at us, that can create a resentment. So resentments can go one of 2 ways. The first way is, well, I'm being whiny and mopey and I need to straighten up my attitude, as my mom would say. Straighten up your attitude, that I need to be responsible. I need to get my act together. So if I have a resentment, That's one of the questions. Well, am I just being immature about this and I need to straighten up my attitude? Okay. The other part of a resentment, when you consult your resentments, you look at it, maybe there is something you need to say. Maybe you open the door and you get a slap in the face. How long are you going to keep opening that door and getting slapped in the face? Are you going to tell the slapper, don't slap me anymore? Or are you going to quit opening the door? Whatever your resentment is, that is a possibility to look at a way or a need to tighten boundaries or set boundaries. And I'm going to tell you, it's a very challenging thing to do, especially when you have had a certain way of relating to someone. Here's an example. So all of a sudden, you tell your teenage son or teenage daughter, kid, you're going to start paying for your car insurance. Maybe before that period of time, you were paying for it. But now you're going to give that responsibility to him or her. You're creating that boundary. You're drawing that line. Sometimes that's challenging because I'm going to figure that perhaps that teenage son or daughter might have a little bit of shock, might not be too enthused, right? Gee, thanks, Mom. I'm looking forward to paying for my car insurance now. You know, whatever that is. So, or maybe it's like, here, kid, you're going to have to start doing your own laundry now. What? You're not going to do my laundry? I'm going to have to take time out of my social life and fit this in. So when you're creating those boundaries, it can cause a ripple in your relationships. Maybe it's temporarily. Maybe that boundary would lead to a cycling up of your vibration so that the association or the relationship kind of goes in different directions. So setting boundaries does have some real consequences, but it's also part of being sovereign in your own life. I do believe that. Okay, so we've really talked for a long time here, and I want to make sure to she's saying too close. Does that mean my microphone is too close? Microphone is too close? Help me out here. Rob has shared, let's see here, on my side, whoops, let's try this again. Rob says, on my side, I've been trying to improve my diet, trying to exercise regularly despite nagging injuries, and haven't had a drink since early April. Good for you. Excellent. Those are really positive choices for your life. Excellent. That's great, Rob. And Neshi says, good one, Rob. Oh, I like that little cornucopia. Stephanie says, I've been working on resting and relaxing more and turning off the type workaholic tendencies I have. Excellent. Excellent. Mic too close to the speakers. So sitting back, is that better? Rob's saying point the speakers away from the mic. I have the PC and I'm not exactly sure where the mic is. So maybe if I sit back, That will help a little bit. I can't point the speakers any different way. So shoot, I hope we get that I hope we get that worked out. So I'll open it up for some readings here this evening. If you'd like a card tonight, I'll probably be using the scroll through chat on my phone. Because the scroll through up here doesn't go fast enough. So I want to make sure to catch everyone who would like a card drawn tonight. So please let me know in the chat if you would like a card tonight. After we've been talking about filling your spiritual toolbox with joy for your everyday life, for being sovereign in your own life, by speaking the truth of your heart, and possibly by setting some boundaries and restoring some boundaries. All right. So Rochelle is asking for a card. And so I shuffle until the card pops out that is for you. And so Rochelle, ooh, there we go. Yeah, that's better. Fortune's Wheel. Rochelle, it's the Wheel of Fortune, Fortune's Wheel. What goes around comes around. What goes around comes around. So everything that you put out, every kind word, every kind gesture, every time that you stop for someone walking in the crosswalk from the parking lot to the store, every time you help someone reach something, every time you let someone pull out in front of you, all of those things, they keep adding up. And so what goes around comes around. It will be given back to you. Now, it might not be in the same form. So if you are driving and you let someone pull out in front of you, then maybe your gift from the universe, I'll put it that way. Maybe your gift from the universe is a coupon to your favorite store where you buy one, get one free. And it's just the thing that you needed. And having an extra one would be superb. So watching for those little paybacks from the generosity of your heart. What goes around comes around. So there we go. All right. And I have Christina. Christina would like a card tonight. Right here for you, Christina. It is the Hermit. The Hermit is about polishing your own light. So all of the ways that you shine during the day, sometimes it can be overwhelming. Maybe you are an introvert in an extrovert's body. What do I mean by that? Is that you enjoy being around people, but it tires you out. And so you need those moments to recharge. And maybe that recharging is to take a nice Epsom salt bath, or to sit in the garden and sip a nice cup of tea, or cocoa or coffee or something along those lines. Or maybe it's to take a walk by the river or pet a cat or whatever that is, to recharge, to rebalance, to, yeah, recharge your internal batteries by doing something just for you. That's your message for tonight. And so Tabitha would like a card. So the way this works is I shuffle it until the card literally pops out that is for you. That's why I have to look down when I do this. So Tabitha, yours is the Page of Fire. So this is all about becoming and mastery. So the page is the apprentice. So whatever you are working on, whatever you have just started, you are starting down a new path of mastery. And it's like a crackling fire within you. The motivation is so strong. And that's a very beautiful thing. Allow it to build its intensity organically and gradually by adding a little fuel, so that you can sustain that motivation. Just like when you go to the gym after a long hiatus, a lot of trainers will encourage you to do 40 minutes or maybe 30 minutes your first time around, so that you don't strain your muscles after this long period and maybe pull a muscle so that you're out for longer to have that heal. So that's kind of the message here, that this path of mastery, you've got a lot of intention behind it. Just pace yourself. That's the best message. Pace yourself. Okay. And Rob. Oh, beautiful card here. This is the sun. The sunny sun. So what I'm hearing right now is the Beatles. Here comes the sun. It's all right. So how often are you letting yourself get out in the sun and just soaking up that vitamin D? And then when you soak up that vitamin D, how much is it radiating out of you? In your smile, in your countenance, in the way that you stand? Do you feel like the sun? So maybe that's a question to ask. Do I feel like the sun today? And if not, then how can I feel like the sun today? The sun makes everyone happy. It makes everything grow, right? So how can I be the sun today? That's your message. All righty. Let's see here. We've got Rob. Next one, I'm having to use my phone to get the scroll up. And so this is Barbie's card. Barbie's card. Oh, there we go. I'm trying to get the glare off of it. The Six of Earth. The Six of Earth. So it's saving for a rainy day, really. It's like rubbing the coins together and making them grow. So saving for a rainy day. But it's also okay to treat yourself every once in a while. So saving for a rainy day is always good, but you can treat yourself once in a while. And what I'm hearing right now, it's time for you to treat yourself. It can be an ice cream cone. It can be a new scarf. It can be, I don't know, an extra wax on your car when you go through the car wash. Splurging just a little bit. Splurge just a little bit on you. There you go. That is your message tonight, Barbie. And so we have Annette. Oh, you had two. Just totally jumped out. All right. You have the Page of Fire and you have the Seven of Air. So what happens when fire and air combine? It gets really big, really fast. So the message is to slow down. The message is to slow down. The mind is working overtime. That's the air. The mind is working overtime. The motivation is there, but slowing down and being more deliberate in your movements. So lots of projects. You can feel a lot of mental energy going on there with, I got to do this, and I got to do this, and I want to do this, and this is how I want to have things, and that's all wonderful. But just they're saying slow it down because there's plenty of time to do everything. There is plenty of time. There you go. That's for you, Annette. All right. Miss Julie, Shumway Hill. And by the way, Miss Julie, that was a beautiful picture you shared about your brand new drum that you made with Neshi over the weekend. What a wonderful thing to have a drum made with love from a sacred drum maker. I'm so glad that you had that class, Neshi. I'm sorry I didn't get to come up for it, but I'm so blessed to have my own hand drum made by Neshi. I have a buffalo drum. It's so beautiful. So this is Miss Julie's card, the Queen of Air. And the message that's coming through about this is elevating your thoughts of you. The same way that you admire someone else whom you think, oh, that person has it all together, or that person owns her own business, or that person this. Elevate your thoughts about you. It's time to speak to yourself the way you speak of other people. And I'm hearing it's somewhat about family members, that there are some family members, maybe extended family members that you think, oh, this person just has it all together. Well, I may just tell you that that person brushes his teeth just like everybody else, has stinky socks like everybody else, you know, has to go to the grocery store like everybody else. You are just like that person. Start elevating your thoughts and speaking of yourself the way you think of other people. That's that message for you. And we have Jennifer Dixon. Jennifer Dixon. I think I'm going to go over a little bit for those if I didn't get your card already, and I know it's close to the hour. But I might go over a little bit staying here. Let's see here. Jennifer Dixon. Jennifer Dixon, yours is the Ace of Water. Ace of Water. So this is emotional healing coming up. So what I'm feeling is that there is a well within you that's starting to bubble up. There is emotional healing that is starting to be released. And if you release the valve slowly and start feeling it and letting it heal that way, it doesn't have to be overflowing the banks and flooding the whole township, right? If you go a little bit at a time, it doesn't take over your whole life. But it's time for that emotional healing. It really, really is, because you are worth it. Your whole bodies are worth it. That's exactly what I'm being told. Your whole bodies, your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies are worth it, are worth that healing. It's time to start letting it come out. You can heal what you feel. Yeah. So that was Jennifer's. Christina says, exactly. Thank you. I spend a lot of time outside with my dogs after being around people so much. That's so awesome. Now, Stephanie. Miss Stephanie, the one who helps us all with social media. We are so thankful to Stephanie. I am so thankful to Stephanie. She is just an incredible influence, an incredible helper. So let's see you, Miss Stephanie, Queen of Fire. Queen of Fire. So this, interestingly enough, this particular message is coming through as a new course of study, a new pathway to your own mastery. And it's feeling like a spider web being woven together. It's like this particular study that you are finding right now, or that you are going to start very soon in the next 3 months, is going to be like the fiber that holds the entire net of your whole body of work together. This is going to be the it. So press on, move forward with the emotional wisdom of the Queen. There you go. There you are, Stephanie. And so we have Becky Hansen. All righty. Becky Hansen, yours is the Two of Air. I love the air cards. They're all about communication and thought. And the Two of Air is all about making a decision. And this is not about two opposing thoughts. This is about two similar, how do I want to put it? What I'm being shown, it's two similar solutions. Kind of like what I'm being shown is like a red car and a blue car. They're both cars, they're just different colors. So it's a very similar choice with slight differences. So it's one of those that you can't make a mistake with it. It's just being true to your authentic heart on making that choice for you. But there's a choice right now, right here for you. Trust your heart. There you go. And Tabitha says, thank you. Definitely fits with what I have going on currently. What is the deck? Yes, the deck is the Good Tarot by Colette Baron Reed. And I shared a post on my page before the live stream that Hay House is the publisher of this particular deck. Hay House is having a sale for this week. I think it's through Friday of this week, so a few more days, that everything on their site is on sale. So you could possibly get this at a very, very good deal. I don't know the exact price of it, but hayhouse.com, that is the publisher of this deck. It's the Good Tarot. Let me put that there, the Good Tarot by Colette Baron Reed. I do love the feel of these cards. Rob says, thank you, Julie. You are welcome. You are so welcome. Barbie says, it's been a busy August and she needs to pamper herself. Yes, yes. Mary Summers. Mary Summers. Let's see here. Temptation. Temptation. The message that's coming through is that there are some doors that once you open them, you cannot close them again. So just be aware of what is being presented to you, that once a door is opened, it's nearly impossible to close it again. That's really all the message that's coming through. I'm asking for some more information, but what I'm getting is that you will know exactly what that means. So the temptation is just be aware that there are some doors that once you open, they are nearly impossible to close if they need to be closed. All right. There you are. And thank you, Neshi. She shared the good tarot. Jennifer said thank you. Stephanie, she shared the link to the good tarot by Baron Reed in there. Excellent. Excellent. And Becky said thank you. So I think I've gotten all of those who have wanted a reading. I think I've gotten everybody in the chat. If I've missed somebody, please raise your hand. I do want to make sure that I get everyone who would like a card this evening. And thank you for the feedback about my microphone. This was just a makeshift tonight. I normally use the blue snowball, but we were having some glitches with that. And so with me working this new studio that I've never done before on my own, I've had Neshi to produce my shows for me. I'm flying solo tonight. I wanted to have fewer pulleys and levers and all of those sorts of things that I had to contend with. So thank you for helping me with the sound and being patient with me for the sound. Mary says, thank you. Interesting. So with that, thank you for joining me for part 1 of Filling Your Toolbox, talking about creating joy in your everyday life, creating balance where you need to, being sovereign in your own life, and listening to your heart, and maybe strengthening some boundaries if you need to. And so with that, I thank you all for joining me on the tarot journey and for doing soul work with me. And as always, may the peace that surpasses all human understanding be with each and every one of you. I've closed my show with that every show. I think it's been every show since I debuted in 2014. I always close with this beautiful blessing. May the peace that surpasses all human understanding be with each and every one of you. Om Shanti, that means peace. Om Shanti. Good night.